Give this great choir another great round of applause. Good morning, Suck Creek. Good morning. Good morning. I want to thank Pastor Mackinson for the opportunity to address this great congregation, and I hope that you all will gain wisdom and inspiration from this message.
Praise God.
I would also like to take the time to thank what I call my triumvirate of women, my mother, my Madia, my Aunt Carla, and my aunts, and my Papa Daniel, my grandmother Lula, and my cousins, and I thank them all for being here this morning. Like I said, I couldn't have had a better introduction than Ayana eloquently stated, and I thank Ayana and Miss Juanima and the entire Petty family. Smile at someone and say it's good to see you. That was the wrong person. Smile at somebody else and say it's good to see you. All right, now if you all have your word, we're going to put the Master's magnifying glass on Job. Chapter 2 verses 9, and then we're also going to look at chapter 23 verses 10. All right.
Say it again, we sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Job chapter 2 verses 9 and Job chapter 23 verses 10. You can find Job right in front of Psalms in the Old Testament. When you have found the passages of your Bible, if you please could stand and honor the word of God. For those who have been reading Job, Job is a man that has endured the attack of the accuser. It's this book of the Bible that gives me the most hope whenever I'm going through a situation. Job chapter 2 verses 9 states, his wife said to him, are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die.
Watch yourself.
Chapter 23 verses 10. He says, but it is he who knows my way and my existence. And he has tried me like gold, and I came forth pure. I'd like to speak to you today on the subject, for he already knows.
All right.
Stay standing as we pray real briefly. God, thank you for this opportunity, God. I thank you for everything that you are. You are Jehovah Jireh, my provider, girl. God, you are everything that you could ever be, God. God, thank you for the weary years that created these silent tears, God, because we don't know where we would have been if it wasn't for the obstacles.
You better pray.
And God, I thank you for Job for giving us this ideology of a man and giving us his divinity, God. And Lord, we just ask for all these things in your precious name that we pray. Amen. Amen. In the mid-19th century, gold was found on and underneath the ground in streams and riverbeds in California. During this time, people around the world, including Americans, fled to California to find and discover what this gold that was heard of. These gold seekers were called the 49ers. Many of my football fanatics may be aware of the San Francisco 49ers, who were named after these so-called seekers of gold. Gold is one of the most rare and precious metals. Some people are so interested in finding gold that the only way for them to have it is by alchemically reproducing it. The alchemical form of gold is not pure gold. Once alchemy is performed, gold as we once knew it becomes replicated. It becomes easily tarnished and damaged. It doesn't hold to its true value. It's easily rusted. It's imitated. Be careful of those who are trying to prepare you for a life that you may not be sure about. A life that may be easily tarnished or damaged. A life that excludes both God and happiness. This life is found on peculiar and strange materials of the earth that are formed to reproduce a mindset that is not authentic. Leading you to a preposterous and dangerous lifestyle. See, Job was a man of integrity. I went and looked at Webster's dictionary to find out exactly what does it mean to have integrity. Integrity is a state of being whole. The word integrity, after I found out the definition, derives from the word integer. An integer is a whole number, which means to be whole means you don't date decimals, you don't frisk with fractions, you're whole. Which means to have integrity is to be whole in the eyes of God. For he already knows what's best for you. Look at your neighbor on the left and say, for he already knows what's best for you. In the 23rd chapter of Job, it is visible that Job has become tired and impatient with the oblivious obstacles that he has endured. Job was a very righteous and God-fearing man. These obstacles brought to him via the accuser who challenges God by asking him to test one of his most pious and righteous servants.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said to servant, have you considered my servant Job?
I'm a knock you out.
There is none like him in the earth. He shuns evil and is a perfect and upright man, and still he has retained his integrity. What is it about one's integrity that even God, the cosmic creator and angelic architect of the universe, would Paul decorating the darkness with silver spheres of sovereignty to give such great thought to Job's integrity?
My God, my God.
Of all the things God could have been concerned with, it's his integrity that God inquired about.
Yes.
Because one's integrity is the fundamental expression of one's character. Hence, I asked the question this morning, if God, who spoke so well of Job, had to speak on your behalf, what would God say about you? When your life is crumbling down in pieces and your bank account is on life support, can you retain your integrity? When he tested Job, he knew exactly what he was doing. God would never put more on you than you can bear, for God is a just God. What type of creator would make his creation suffer to a point where their living is in vain? What type of creator would put you in a sideways situation that he believes is too much for you to survive? What type of creator would give his own breath to form a picturesque and portentous being without first considering their outcome in life? Well, Job, being the righteous man that he was, lost everything. He lost his children, his home, and his stock. It is at this point that his wife tells him that maybe he should curse God for losing all these eminent, or what may have seemed to be eminent, materials. Instead of cursing God, Job decides to curse the very day he was born and becomes restless from the issues that are taking place in his life. Somebody say restless. Job had not realized that sometimes in life it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. Sometimes we become so restless and tired when God is testing us that we forget that God has brought us this far. I stopped by Suck Creek this morning to tell you that trouble don't last always. Where there's a mountain moving, where there's a business building, where there's a promise fulfilling, where there's a dream, envision it. Where there's a dream, envision it. Where there's a dream, you must be mindful of your capabilities so that you may generate opportunities not only for yourself, but also for others. Yes, you are here, but you have not made it there, not yet. And what is there? Where is it? There is what God has in store for you. There is the reality of this world once we have been pushed out of this dream world, the illusion called life. There is the tree of abundant life which a degree or a diploma is supposed to afford you. There is a world that is supposed to be free and hospitable to all who would pluck success from its branches. But the world has lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls and has barricaded the world with hate. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery, which gives abundance, has left us in want. Technology has made this world a neighborhood, but has failed to make it a brotherhood. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than war, we need love. More than We need kindness, men and women of conviction.
Go ahead, brother man.
Even now, this technology of which I speak allows my voice to reach a number of people. A number of despairing men, women, and little children, all who have become a victim of a system which causes men to torture and imprison innocent people. Most who look like both you and I. It is a poverty of ambition if all you think of are the goods you can receive compared to the good that you can do. Job is going through life in chapter 23. Look back with me to your text. At the beginning of verse 10 in chapter 23, there are some weird things taking place, Pastor. Now, as you can see, those of you who are reading with me from the New International Version, the first word in chapter 10 is but. Now, but is an adversative conjunction. Well, I was not always aware exactly what a conjunction was. One day I was young and I was watching a television cartoon and he said, conjunction, what's your... All right, somebody else. The function of a conjunction connects what's before with what's after. It's an adversative conjunction like but, however, yet, and howbeit means whatever is on the backside of that conjunction is about to overrule whatever's on the front side of that adversative conjunction. There's a but at the beginning of verse 10. Although Job may have been going through some difficult time, God told him that trouble wouldn't last too long. But it is he who knows my way and my existence and has tried me like gold and I came forth pure. I don't have any money for my bills, but God kept me out of the dark. I don't have any gas in my car, but God got me here today. I don't have any food on my table, but God blessed me with a meal. Job may have been experiencing one of the most tough or difficult situations in his life. However, the story doesn't end like that. You have to get to a point where you just don't know God, but God knows you. This brings me back to my initial point that even God recommended the unbendable, unyielding, and unconquerable integrity of Job. God knew of Job and his integrity. God knew that Job was an upright man. He knew that Job paid his tithe, sacrificed his stock, loved his family, provided for his family, loved his neighbor, loved his friend, loved the strangers that he may not even know. You get that love part, right? God knew. If God could take a plantation-born Mississippi girl and dye her with courage and passion to gain for her people the rights that were so long denied, and Fannie Lou Hamer would go on to accomplish more in a few years than King did in 13 and others have in 40. If God could take a first century Palestinian Jew from a little known village, place him on a cross atop of a hill, and as Adam played the child said, with outstretched arms, split time from AD to BC, and God can take you, an imperfect, whiny, and confused individual, lift you up out of your current situation, place your feet on solid ground, guide you down the stony, beaten road to perfection, and cause you to move mountains and feed thousands more than Jesus ever could. In this room right now is the next great Supreme Court Justice, but also in this room sits the next great clerk of the court. In this room is seated the next great pilot, but also seated next to them is the next great co-pilot. Now, I'm not saying that we should all be content with being a sidekick or second best, but whatever role we should occupy in life, we must be very best at what we do. God can use us no matter how big or small the role may be. But this individualism, this selfishness, this greed, the love of only getting money, has caused a deficiency of morality and compassion in our community. It is the complete antithesis of integrity. We now suffer from a kind of deprivation of the spirit. Violence isn't a daily occurrence simply because we're angry. Drug addiction and dealing isn't just the act of individuals with no way out. Our deep infatuation and belief that life is only about how much money we have has caused these two diseases to infect our community. Drug dealing is the easiest way out. is the easiest way in our community to make money because the dollar is worth soul dedication. And so for many, even if there is a way out of poverty that grips their family, the focus is the easiest way to make money, not the best way to earn it.
All right.
And so we sell drugs to make a quick dollar and thus infect our community with the present day disease we now battle. The qualities of selfishness and self-centeredness, which were once qualities of survival at the dawn of early civilization and our creation, now threaten to annihilate us as people. Yes, money talks, but baby, it lies.
Yeah.
We try so desperately to rise from the position of pawn to ultimately be the king without realizing that once the game of chess is over, the king and the pawn goes back in the same box. And we've got to stop spending our time majoring in the money. I'm not telling you this morning to continue on your track in life. I'm not suggesting that you forsake your degree or your diploma or change your life's course. What I'm challenging you to do this morning is that if you're going to be a businessman who will not exploit the poor. If you're going to be a doctor who would be more interested in the health of his patients and not the perks of doling out drugs. If you're going to be an educator who takes instruction seriously and focuses on content, not just meeting the standard. And if you're going to be a preacher, Pastor Lord, if you're going to be a preacher who's not concerned about fleecing the flock, but feeding the sheep. Make their cry the concern of your life. Make the plight of the poor your passion. Make the concerns of the people your career. Make the drug-addicted denizens of our community worthy of your devotion, and make mankind, not money, your motivation. For God already knows. Dr. King was right when he said that eventually we shall overcome.
Yeah.
He said that we shall overcome because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. He said that we shall overcome because no lie can live forever.
Amen.
He said that we shall overcome because truth crushed to earth will rise again. He said that we shall overcome because the Bible is right, you shall reap what you sow. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome, and with this faith, we will go out and join the councils of despair and bring new light into the dark chambers of pessimism. And we will be able to rise from the fatigue of despair to the buoyancy of hope. And this will be a great America. This will create men and women who will retain their integrity and keep hold of their faith even when God tests them like Job. This reminds me of a story, Pastor, of a young lady who was traveling with her grandfather down 85 Atlanta bound towards Spartanburg and Green. She was going down 85 and she had just recently received her permit, and she was driving in the car with her grandfather. Grandfather had to take care of some business, and she said, Granddaddy, can I please drive? I just got my permit. He said, no, baby, I'm really trying to get somewhere. You just hold tight. I got this. He kept driving. She said, Granddaddy, please, can I drive? Granddaddy, let me drive. He said, no, baby, it's all right. I got this. The grandfather just got onto Highway 85 and got near the Cowpens exit. How many of you are familiar with the Cowpens exit? He got near the Cowpens exit, and so the granddaughter asked again, Daddy, can I please drive again? He said, all right, baby. He pulled this car to the side of the road, put it in park, unbuckled his seatbelt, and let the granddaughter come and drive on the passenger side. He said, now baby, please be careful as you drive. This vehicle can take your life. And so as they got on to 85, heading back south towards Spartanburg, they were driving. And all of a sudden, you know, right there at the top where the two highways before you get to Greenville, the two lanes turned into three. They had just got to that point, and all of a sudden it felt as if the sky had just opened up and poured out rain. The little girl got nervous. She had never endured an obstacle like this. She had just received her permit. She is like, God, why am I driving in all of this rain? So she said, Granddaddy, can I please pull over to the side of the road? He said, baby, you want to drive, you're going to drive. And he said, Granddaddy, but please, I can't do this. I'm 10 and 2. I'm remember everything that the drivers told me to do. Daddy, can I please pull over to the side of the road? He said, no, baby, keep driving. At this point, she's 10 and 2. Bullets are sweating down her forehead. The crew neck of her shirt is becoming drenched in sweat. She's like, my God, what am I going to do? This rain is just pouring more and more. Her windshield wipers as fast as they can go. The rain nets went and clear it away, and she keeps driving. She said, Granddaddy, can I please pull over to the side of the road? He said, no, baby, keep driving. And so she had kept driving, and all of a sudden the rain ceased. The grandfather said, baby, pull over to the side of the road. Like the young lady she is, she looked at her grandfather, rolled her neck, crossed her eyes, and said, why would you tell me to pull over to the side of the road now and wouldn't let me pull over when I was stuck in the rain? He said, baby, do what I say. So she pulled over to the side of the road. She had, he said, now put the car in park, and he was like, meet me at the back of the car. He got out the car and met him at the back of the car. He said, now baby, look. Now if you would have stayed in that rain, you would still be in that rain. You have to get to a point where God knows what's best for you. You can sit in your situation. Don't ever let anything stop you from coming into the light. But God already says that trouble doesn't last always, because the Lord is on your side. He will take anybody in check. He took a Palestinian Jew and made him Jesus. He took Mary and made her pregnant as a virgin. God can do the same thing for you. Don't let anybody tell you that you aren't good enough for the presence of God. God loves you no matter who you are and what you do. For as long as you repent for your sins, no other man can judge you. There are going to be times in your life as a believer when you're going to question if God is really on your side.
Amen.
And the reason why you're questioning it is because of the simple fact that it seems like the devil is hitting you with everything he can possibly throw.
Amen. Amen.
But you need to understand that the only reason why you are in that position now is because God has ordered your steps. And the only reason the accuser is hitting you is because he took a peek into your future season. A couple seconds of hell on earth is not worth your eternity in heaven. Don't let nobody stop you from coming into your season. That's why you can't depend on nothing but the word of God. His word is true. Believe it and it will come through. God bless you.